Hello, everyone. My name is Alexandr Korol, and I am the author and the character of the book Alternative History. I have started from the end. First, I published the video where I decipher the matrix. And now I want to clarify what this matrix is, what this book is, and who I am. Right now, I'm the main character of the book Alternative History. It is a first-person novel. I've already written 2 volumes and currently working on the 3rd that will be released next year. This is a specific author's style I used. I had to make a warning in my books and even on YouTube so that people would not lose sight of what is the reality and what is just the novel. Why is that? And what is going on? My novel, Alternative History, is a unconventional and peculiar story. And what I write about, I immediately demonstrate in practice. And the code I deciphered in the 1st and 2nd volumes of Alternative History, the same matrix, I used to write my novel. So, as it turned out, think of it as a book within a book. As you follow along with me, when you will decipher the matrix, it will all make sense. When you start reading the novel Alternative History, you encounter the drafts of a boy that tells you a story he has lived through. And he's telling a story as if it wasn't a novel, but as if he is a writer and is writing a book and is addressing you through the book. This is why a strange feeling may come over you. The reader may lose the sight of what is reality and what is the book. That is the author's technique. And even in this video, I'm speaking to you not as the author, but as a character, the main character of the novel. And now I will be sharing with you everything I wrote in this novel, just like a form of deciphering, a continuation of my novel in a video. Don't let yourself be confused by those boundaries, though it may be hard for you. Well, let's imagine there is a director that made a movie. And he titled it The Adventures of Bob Thompson. But in fact, the director's name is Bob Thompson. And as you watch the movie, you see that the plot revolves around Bob Thompson learning how to make movies. And the point is that it's just a movie and not a real life of the director. So I just want to warn you that I have chosen a particular author's style, the way I wrote this novel, how I am writing it. Everything I will be sharing with you, I am already him. I will not be playing a character since I am the character. I am him, Alexandr Korol, the boy from the book who is deciphering secret symbols and figuring it all out for the past 10 years. And while you are reading this novel, first or second, then if you have questions or if you want to talk or debate about something, you have to understand it's just like a movie. Let's say a movie about a soccer player. Say a soccer player, but it was made by a director, and the main character is played by just an actor. Same exact thing here. In this book, I am just an actor. And I'm just a director of the novel, and this is a book. This is a first-person novel. I hope I made it clear. I have to repeat it over and over again in each of my videos, since people get lost when they read this book, as they get overwhelmed with emotions and incredibly strong feelings. And afterwards, they try to find me on different social media platforms to ask me some questions or to suggest how to decipher something. But when you are trying to reach me, who will you find? Just a writer. And the main character, he remained in the book. Right now, I'm giving you the opportunity to meet the character through YouTube videos that I decided to record to clarify things and coordinate you to the right use of this novel. Why it was written in such a unique way. What is this essence of it? What message I am sending through this novel to people? What I want to give and show to the reader, to my current and future readers, to everyone. Alternative History, Volume 1, it all starts with me facing such a situation that makes me see the people and the world a little differently. It is as if when I am looking at each person and feel like I lived his or her entire life, that is, I know what he or she thinks. It's not like they show in the movies when one hears voices in the head. It's not like that. You just feel what the other person is feeling when he is looking at someone, when he is sitting on a chair, or when he meets someone, or when he opens a message on their phone. What that person felt, I felt myself. I had it since childhood, and I couldn't understand what it was. What was also strange, as if I knew everything about every person, but not like I know their name, what color is their passport, or something. No, but as if I understood or knew each and everyone, and who they truly are. I mean, I knew what will happen to this person, as if everything is clear and every person is already predetermined. Then I began to notice that it was true, everything aligned with my vision. It happened in childhood. And what is most interesting, I was always very sensitive as a child. For example, if someone's knee was hurting and that person stood next to me, my knee began to hurt too. And I had no idea what to do with all of it. If a person next to me suddenly became angry, then I suddenly felt that I was growing just as angry too. If a person is a coward, I was suddenly also becoming a coward, and I could never tell what was it that gave me this feeling. And I also noticed that only when I am alone, only then I can feel myself. And when I am alone, I have only one feeling, and it was always pleasant: calmness and tranquility. But the moment I start to interact with people, I begin to connect to the rhythm of this person. But that was fine. When I was about 17 or 18, I happened to be home alone, as if it was getting dark outside. I was listening to a song, and it was the song Beautiful Lie by Yoav. I closed my eyes and played the song on repeat and began to feel that something was happening to me. It was as if a ray of light was beaming on me, on my head, on my shoulders, then my whole body. And I noticed that when I'm breathing heavily, it almost distracts me. So I hold my breath, just barely letting the air through, remain calm, and try to listen to the music. And I begin to stop feeling my own body. My head was heavy, then my shoulders, then the whole body. And then it was as if I no longer feel anything, and as if the music becomes volumetric, and then it fades too, and I begin to fall somewhere. And I end up somewhere. When you close your eyes and you are in the dark, but I am not in darkness, as in lack of light. There is actually a lot of light, so much that I cannot see anything at all. So I end up there, consciously though. I had no idea what happened to me. I was just listening to the music. Suddenly, and then I hear a voice. And it tells me that I came here not to live, but to work, that everything that surrounds me is just circumstances. And then I'm shown a completely different image, like a feeling. I don't know, I just feel, see, sense, as if I'm 23 years old and something has happened. I don't know what, but something has happened in the world, and as if the whole world is talking about me or thinking about me. As if all the thoughts are shut off and everyone are shocked as they stare at me or think about me, something like that. And this was sort of an omen for me, some manifestation when I was 17 or 18. I had no idea what it was. I posted messages on different forums asking what it could be, and I was told that it was a meditation, but I did not know what it was at the time. And many people were asking me what exactly did I do so they could try it too. And I explained that I was listening to music on repeat, and with each sound I imagined how I was reaching up there. But in fact, energy was coming towards me, and just like that I got there. And then I waited to turn 23. And once I reached the age, nothing has happened. And then I realized that it was probably not about me turning 23, but about the year 2023. And I was like, whoa. And this event has motivated me and helped me not to lose my heart all this time. I believed that something is about to happen. So I approached it calmly, but the fact that something has happened, it was a fact. I was writing it in my diary. I try to give it some form, create a book, turn it into a novel or something similar. But it was tremendously hard, as I cannot artificially, forcefully make myself imagine something and follow the rules that literature bestows upon us. I never studied writing. But for the past 13 years, I try to capture this journey in writing, keeping track of any detail I could, piece by piece, writing it all down in chronological order to make sure I won't lose anything, so that in the future I could write this in a book. And in this book, I write exactly this. And what I am telling you now, I am telling it as the main character of this book, in which the story is about the character himself, the one that is writing this book. Do you follow? This is the fourth dimension that I am demonstrating in this work. This book is not just a book. It's not for nothing. In my first video, I was showing you the matrix I've deciphered. I was in spirit. Because now I am in spirit. It is crucial, since this is a specific key, and those who do not understand the meaning of the word think that this is something strange, or it may seem strangely religious. Maybe some hipsters may already assume something along those lines, but in truth, those who know, they clearly understand what it is. And this is a bold statement. That is to be in spirit. The novel Alternative History was written when I was in spirit. And now I am recording a video when I am in spirit. The matrix that I have been deciphering this whole time, a human cannot decipher it with their mind, but it can be fully comprehended in spirit. That is why it's so important. That's why I put a lot of emphasis on it when I show the matrix, because this is the key phrase. When I was in spirit, I was deciphering it. Because if you decipher it without being in spirit, you will never be able to decipher it. I was guided by the Spirit. But the Spirit and what it is, that's another matter. And in the first volume of Alternative History, I tell you what happened to me. What was happening to me all these years. Strangers would come up to me on the street, calling me by my name. Some woman would approach me, or a man, and tell me what I have been doing recently, or what will happen to me tomorrow. I had no idea who they were, who kept coming to me. I called them the messengers, messengers coming to me since my childhood, who gave me different riddles and warned me about something. I always wanted to understand who I am and who are these people that kept coming up to me. How do they know everything that they know? Are they even people or something else? And the novel Alternative History, Volume 1, ends in this very finale of the book. I come to the point that I begin to realize and comprehend what it was, and all the unusual and strange people I met through my life. It wasn't about the people, but the Spirit entered them. That was speaking to me directly. And then I remembered that when something strange was happening to me, I remember one instance when criminals approached me with knives, intending to mug me. And something happened to me, as if something entered me, and I began to speak to them. They got scared and left me alone. And I could not understand what it was. And now I realized that it was the Spirit, and it would enter strangers. And through those strangers, it would come to me, or it would enter me. And then I remembered a lot of stories that were even made into movies. Some movies you could have even seen before, where they show similar things, that this is not the first time that something like this happens to a person, that a stranger or even someone you know is possessed by a spirit that warned them or tried to lead them somewhere. And then it hit me. It's happening to me as well. And the movie about Jeanne of Arc, the whole story of Jeanne, well, you can watch the movie. It shows perfectly what I mean. There is also, well, different movies that found success and ones that didn't. But for example, Rasputin, on the times of the Russian Empire, right before its downfall, he also was the one who got possessed by the Spirit. who got possessed by the spirit. But also, throughout the whole novel, I speak of why the spirit enters when it doesn't enter, and why does this happen. I begin to decipher and understand why. In all religions, there are commandments about the sins and virtues. What is the purpose of religious holidays? They are there to cleanse one's soul, because if the soul is impure, the spirit cannot enter, and then the spirit cannot save you or anybody that you care about. In order to save you, it can enter a pure person that stands next to you, and then that pure soul will be able to save you from your troubles. And if you yourself are pure, then the spirit will enter you, but only if your lens under the correct angle, when your heart and soul are pure. The heart has to be on and activated. When a person is on extreme side and the heart is extinguished and they live by the mind, on top of that, this person sinned, the spirit cannot enter. The spirit cannot enter. And the novel, I would not call it non-standard. It is so non-typical and real. My novel, Alternative History, especially the first volume. So if you start reading it, and if your soul is pure, and your heart is open, if you are not evil, conservative, sinful person, and you have light in your heart, you will feel rather strange while reading it. While you will be reading the novel, you will be lost in time and space. You will feel the air grow thick. You will see everything as if from a new angle, as if music will be playing. It will become volumetric, as if it plays from within you and around you. It is a completely new angle of perception. And also, I explained this in my book, my novel Alternative History. Yes, this is very interesting. I deciphered what people attempt to decipher their whole lives. And I deciphered it all in my novel. But more specifically, I gave the keys and I hint to how to do it yourself, very carefully approaching the subject. The first volume of Alternative History ends in a very, I don't even know how to say this correctly. Very unexpected, even for myself, and probably will be for the reader too. Imagine, since my childhood, I've seen that it is no coincidence that there are 12 months and 12 zodiac signs, that 12 months are divided into 4 seasons, that 12 signs are divided into 4 elements, that there are 24 hours, 12 hours for the light and 12 hours for the darkness, and that also divides into groups of the evening, morning, day and night. And nobody can explain how did this become to be? Why everyone stick to this order of things? Why is that? Since my childhood, I have been asking everyone, was searching all over the internet, and nobody could explain this to me. It bothered me. I wanted to decipher it, and it was the most important thing for me. I understand that people have different levels of interests, values, to each their own. But I was always inspired and charged up by studying these questions. And when I try to figure out the truth, my whole conscious life, I keep trying to decipher this matrix. I began to notice that in some holy scriptures, there is something, some text, that have the same hidden codes in them. That it's not a coincidence that there are 12 apostles, 24 elders. I began to understand that all of this is some sort of matrix. and I saw it on the icons, but I could not understand what it is. And, well, in the end of volume 1 of the alternative history, I come to a point that I am deciphering a rather simple symbol, a triangle. Simply an equilateral triangle that has 3 equal sides. But how am I deciphering? In my book, I simply drawing and placing correct dots on different geometric shapes. Those are encrypted in the Bible text. And I begin to understand that 3 months is a triangle made of 3 dots. So the months are divided into 4 groups. So that means there should be 4 triangles. And these 4 groups, like 4 elements, the symbol that was depicted by alchemists and used by them in their work. But in fact, it is one triangle that keeps spinning in different trajectories. And this is when I see that this triangle, it is like a tetrahedron, that it is some sort of specific angle. When I was in spirit, the Spirit showed me that when I look into this triangle, when I comprehend what it is, I understand what Trinity is. And I understand that I am, I was, and I will be. And I understand that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost is me in present, the future, and in the past. That the Spirit, as I comprehended, the matrix that I deciphered, I began to understand that this is a time machine that can be made. And I begin to see the future and understand that one can create this time machine. And then I suddenly understand that I did create it in my future. And then it dawns on me that this is who has been talking to me all that time since my childhood, who was entering all strangers and the cause of all those events. It was me from the future, finding me in the past as the Spirit. And I, of course, was shocked. But it only gets more interesting. In order to test this theory, I begin to Google the icons of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. And would you believe? Who do I see? The Father and the Son. Do you see that they have the same face? Because they are the same person. It is him young and him old. But if you look closer, there is no text in the world that I could find where someone pointed that out, how similar they look. That the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost, and if you look at the Son and the Father, they appear to be the same exact person. Look at the icons yourself. The face is always the same. It is one person, simply in 2 different ages. One is old and gray, and the other is young, but they are the same. And for me, it opens something truly breathtaking. I understand now that I need to keep decipher all of it. And after I published Volume 1, I began to work on Volume 2.